start setting up. But in the meantime, ningependa kumkaribisha Anne Wanyoike again for the roaming microphone. We also get a feel of who has joined us so far, and we keep it going. As she does so, let me just remind you, for those who've just come in, maybe didn't get a minute to pop in and out. Number one, there is running tea throughout. So at any point, especially as we are doing this bit, you could always just step to the side, right at the back, get yourself a snack and some tea. Yeah, we clock it. Thank you. Asante sana. I hope I did it right.
Please explain to the millennials in the room what clocking it is.
I wouldn't know as well.
I speak on behalf of myself as a millennial. Yeah. All right, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Morning.
I'm Kenyatta Kaula. I work with the Kenya Film Classification Board, which is a very vital player in the art industry. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
A round of applause for him, please. You're eating.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Njoki Kimwake. I'm here on behalf of Creatives Garage.
A round of applause for her as well. Gentlemen.
Hello, good morning. My name is Mwalimu Greg Mwendwa, and I am currently an independent consultant designing programs for learning, for communicating, and for community organizing. I work with a company called Mason & Associates, and I'm really grateful to be here with you all. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
A round of applause for him. All right. Gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Alexander Reithi. I work with the Institute for Socio-Accountability. Thank you.
Asante sana.
Thank you so much. Gentlemen.
Good morning.
Good morning.
My name is Albert Mungai. I work at the Institute for Social Accountability, TISA.
Thank you so much for being here. Let me get a lady.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
You're all well. My
Very
name
well.
is Andrian Mutweri. I am with NCIC Kenya, and quite humbled to be here. Thank you.
Asante sana.
A round of applause for her.
We can have two more.
Two more? Okay, two more. Let me see. Lady.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Shanton Butich, and I work for Brave Media.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here.
Good morning.
Morning.
My name is Komora. I'm an artist. I'm a rock artist. Happy to be here. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Asante sana. Asante sana. I really like his hair. Yeah. So amesema rock artist.
It's
Nico.
very rock and roll.
Yes.
Yes.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. What's the name of your band?
I play in several bands, but I have a band called Rush Band. We
Rush
also do
Band.
activism music as well. I also play with Lee Boy and many other artists.
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Thank you very much. I actually do know Rush Band. We play them on Power Radio plug. So check us out on Power Radio. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, ningependa kumkaribisha our speaker for the day, and he will be doing a presentation on research finding and key insights, particularly for today. He is the main reason we're here, right? Good. And just a reminder, running tea throughout, number one. And number two, if in case you'd like to go to the ladies or the gents facilities, just step out right past the lifts to your right. Right there, you'll see a sign written washroom. So at any point, tafadhali. But without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I give you Kennedy Kakaba. We give you Kennedy Kakaba, and he's going to walk us through the presentation, even as we ask for some assistance right here. I will follow up on that. Sindio? Okay, good. Karibu sana. A round of applause for him, please. We can do better than that. Najua. Good. Thank you very much. Karibu sana.
Okay. Good morning, everyone. Yeah, I was just telling someone that I'm scared that at some point everyone will be looking at me. And I think this is the time. So I'm on my own. Now, the IT person can come. It's not rolling. It seems my villagers have come to ensure that I don't present what I've prepared for I've prepared this for the whole of this week. So eventually it doesn't roll. So it keeps. So I'm Kennedy Hakaba Omkunda. I know many of you know me from AGREC, where we do a lot of consultancy research in governance, election, youth. And so we have this study here. Can we have someone from IT to come and help me roll? I'm really ready to present, and it will be very short, to the point, because you already have the booklet. I was telling someone older that if this doesn't make sense, then you are becoming very old. Yeah. Initially, I used to walk and I see mauano everywhere. Honestly, I started asking, who is this mauano? Mauano nini? Are people killing each other, or it was being written everywhere on bridges, everywhere? It's not roll. How do you roll? Okay, this one. Okay, thank you. Now, let me go straight to the point. So as I said, I'm Kennedy Hakaba. We worked on this study. So we are giving a very brief presentation. The role of activism in advancing socio-economic and political development in Kenya. Okay, let me go to the next one. The scope of the study. It was to evaluate the activism role in Kenya, socio-economic and political development. Focus on governance, civic engagement, economic empowerment, and inclusion. To cover historical trajectory, so the major reports have actually all these sections. Pre-independent to digital age, and explore policy, legal framework, and case studies. Geographical scope, that is, we had 7 counties: Nairobi, Kisumu, Mombasa, Nakuru, Uasin Gishu, Embu, and Turkana. So the coverage was very informative. Audience, we talked to policymakers, CSOs, CBOs, the activism themselves, creative development partners, and government. Methodology, you see, before you tell, sometimes you have to tell how you got the information. It's usually very important. Methodology, we did literature review, synthesized global and local scholars on activism. Qualitative fieldwork, we had a geographical scope of 7 counties, as I've said. Participant, we had a total of 55, that is 31. You can see 14 CSOs and 10 government officials. Data collection, we had 18 sessions. And we had gender balance, that is representing persons with disability. The analysis was done through thematic analysis using the DDoS software, data triangulation, ensured validity and reliability. Key findings. So I've just extracted key findings from this. This was heavily a qualitative study. So we don't expect a lot of percentages. 50%. It was qualitative. So basically you document what people are telling you. So some of the key findings, we had a theme on population understanding on activism. Activism uses creative forms like music, drama, graffiti, poetry to express dissent. Yeah, so that was key. It provokes discomfort to challenge societal norms and inspire social change. What people understood about it, that's what the first theme looked at. And then the activism advances citizen right through voluntary engagement in theater, debate, digital media, and writings. So we had civic engagement and political advocacy. Activism dramatizes issues like corruption, election, finance bill to drive public accountability. It simplifies complex, this is what people are reporting. It simplifies complex governance issues using creative storytelling and digital media. Yesterday, someone sent me something on debt. I think it came from NDI or something. You want to hear that lady talk to the end. It was spoken word. It has been compressed into a spoken word. But what they are saying is very real. Inclusion and representation. What people said that gender bias excludes talented girls due to limited access and network. Yeah, remember places like Turkana were here. So, yeah, while in Nairobi here we have access to internet everywhere, you can actually think it's a normal thing to have internet. You can even say internet imeenda wapi. There are places you want to do your work, but it goes in circles until you cannot do much. Unsafe and male-dominated digital art space for women. Yeah, women are slowly coming into this space, but it's heavily for men. That's one of the things that came out. Yeah. And then tokenism, mockery, and stereotype affect women and role-based youth. Basically, when you are doing this, they say, hizi vitu za vijana, sindio? You know, if you went and you are doing graffiti in the village, people, vijana wameandika hapa. So basically, it's seen as a youthful thing, that old people don't want to relate with. Although they see, but it doesn't come in. And so that becomes an issue. And suppose like now in current space, you are given something to draw a politician, even if he was corrupt, and you want the money. PWD lacks interpreters, accessible venues, and inclusion in performance. This looks like a sentence. I said part of the thing, we also do a lot of disability work. This looks like a sentence, but if you have drawn something, for example, and we have a blind person, it becomes very difficult. Or you are doing a spoken word, like the two people who are here. Oh, sorry, do we have a deaf person here? Just any deaf person? Because I could have left them behind. Yeah, okay. Yeah, good practice is always to have an interpreter. So this looks like a sentence, but if we have a spoken word, but we don't have an interpreter, then it becomes very difficult for a deaf person to understand. Yeah, I remember on one of the television, I do a lot of work with the deaf community. Former Prime Minister was talking and there was no interpreter. So they kept on calling me, tell the TV station to put an interpreter there. We also want to follow what they are saying. So this looks like a sentence, but this space is not very inclusive. And heavily it is one person. Most of the time it's one person either who have drawn, it's one person saying the spoken word, but it's not as inclusive as possible. Digital technology and access. Digital art transforms graffiti and creative work into viral online activism, influencing policymakers. Limited access to digital tools for rural youth and low-income communities, and high internet cost limit reach. So where do you think there is a high reach for this work? It should be heavily in town. But in the villages, you may actually get a lot of challenges. Okay? So, and one of the things we also realized, politicians are very careful, particularly since the Gen Z. What is being drawn? What are people saying in that space? So it's something people are a bit careful. So that's how it influences policy. What are you saying? Not directly. Many of you, if you remember, you had to tell the president to come to the X space for them to speak to him. So institutional support and challenges. Activism depends on CSO support due to lack of government backing. This is not in the government space. This work is not in the government space. It's seen as the hard activism. So it's not in the government space. So basically, if you wanted to get a lot of this work, you will get this work within the civil society. It is a civil society issue, not government thing. No structural funding or county policy for this. So, but you see everyone is speaking, so how do we reach out to the young people? But it's not a heavy space within government. Censorship, bureaucracy, policy interference hinders creative expression. Just to mention, actually this looks like, there's a study we also did on civic space where we got the findings. But censorship is real. And sometimes, unaweza chomolewa, si ndio? If you say something that people are not comfortable with, you may remember what is happening with the laws. Laws are being changed so that if you say things someone is not comfortable with, it takes you to court, you pay 20 million and some years on it. So censorship is real. So people fear, sometimes also saying what they want. Someone asked me, what do you mean by fear? As far as I'm posting and I'm looking behind to see who will see it, then that's fear. I should just post and let it go. Okay? But censorship is real. Bureaucracy, police interference hinders creative expression. When you hear that government, anyway, it was on the newspaper, that they want to create a police force to look at what is happening in the digital space. You see, and that's why you are posting your things. Then, limited, I know I have spent a lot of time there because it's a big issue. Limited public performance space and monitoring by state actors. Yeah, it's real. It's real, that one. So we have cultural and framing and public perception. Elders view activists as idle. Youth see them as change makers. So hao vijana wamekosa kazi. I'm not, my mother tongue is interfering with me. Someone asked who interfered with another one. Is it English or my mother tongue? So elders view it as people are idle. They don't have work to do. Youth see it as a change maker. This space is for youth. And it is youth who see sense out of it. But older people see it, we recognize the entrance of Senator Sige into the room. Karibu sana mheshimiwa. So elders see it as youth are idle. Youth see it as a change maker. Okay. You see, it is not very easy for someone to speak here spoken word for almost 30 minutes. Either he has been practicing or he's thinking as he talks. But elders see it as an idol and youth see it as a change maker. So those are two conflicting spaces. Cultural conservatism in rural area resist urban art form like graffiti and hip hop. So if you went in the village and you are throwing your hands and you are trying to, people will be wondering actually what you are doing. You know, you are spoken word. You are trying to stand there and doing spoken word. Okay, spoken. I don't know if you have spoken word in mother tongue. I don't know. Yeah. So locally relevant themes like education and drought increases acceptance. You know. Yeah. And then opportunities for growth, basically there are lack of institutional structures for youth, art participation. You know, we may have those spaces, but within this space, there's just, people just pop up. No one educates you, you just pop up and you become good, and people recognize you. And you move your own space. Yeah, there's no one who trains you. Those who spoke here, someone trained you? Or someone, is there a class you went, maybe something? Many of them told us that they just pop up. And then people recognize you along the way. Absence of activism, recognition in formal education, and policy processes. Okay. So those are key things. I said I have 30 minutes and I have to spend. So keywords here, no policy, It's not a government issue. It's an non-state actors thing. Old people see it as a youth thing, youth idol, jobless. Youth see it as a change-making thing. It's not a government thing. It's a civil society thing. No policy. It is not in the informal sector. Maybe in the formal education, maybe with CBC, I also don't know. But that's where we were. We picked some of the quotes that have shown that this can be helpful. Okay? In Mombasa, one of them said, through the theater or graffiti, we show what the system ignores: hunger, corruption, and leadership. Okay. The system may ignore some of these things. The guy who said mili ilipatikana kware, something like that. You see, the system, that is not very comfortable with the system, because we also don't know who threw them there so far. So, but you see, young people or youth, we are still talking about it because we need the answer. So that's maybe an ignored thing, but you see, I'm just using that as an example so that you see how it relates. Sometimes our videos are picked up by blogs and TV stations. Suddenly, MPs are talking about what we said in a rap song. Okay? So videos zinachukuliwa and then you see MPs talking about them. So it means the information has reached. Like in Turkana, we used storytelling and songs in the local language to push for water access. The MCA came to the show. Later, he called a baraza. An action has been done. Okay. Even when women are allowed to perform, it's always as a background dancer. It's okay. Or singers, not as leaders or writers. Yaani mko tu pale, nyinyi ndio mnapiga makofi. Yeah. Okay. So that's a problem. My spoken word piece on femicide was reposted by NGO in Canada. Okay? That is when I realized the global power of our voice. So that was in Nairobi. So unafanya tu hapa Nairobi, haujaenda Canada, unaona tu imekuwa reposted. Na labda mwenye ana repost it akon around 1.2 million. So basically you are speaking to the whole world. Okay. Some of the key recommendations. So those are some of the findings, some of the key recommendations. And maybe we have partners here, we have development partners here, and we have civil society here. You're wondering, so where do we plug in this process? First of all, I will recommend that you take time and read the report. The report has so much information that was cut into less than 30 minutes. So recommendations and the strategic intervention. These are the big, I call it the big five. Okay, number one, integrate activism into policy and governance framework. Institutionalize activism within national and county development plan, including civic education, youth empowerment, and cultural policy framework. So there's need to do this. This basically helps to ensure that county government plans for it, even national government, so that youth have their own space. Have I left? I'm fine. Yeah. Okay, thank you. Okay, that is taken. Number two, enhance digital inclusion and infrastructure for creative expression. Invest in affordable internet access, public Wi-Fi, digital literacy, especially in rural and marginalized areas, to expand equitable participation. Okay. I said in Nairobi it is okay to even complain there's no internet here. There are some places there's no internet and you cannot do anything. And if you get, it's very expensive. People still go to the cyber to do their work. So you can imagine a young person in the village going to the cyber to upload her work or his work. So enhance digital inclusion and infrastructure for creative expression. Strengthen legal and institutional protection for activistic freedom. Review and harmonize laws such as Computer Misuse, Cybercrime Act, and Public Order Act to prevent censorship and harassment of activism. Now, these three laws are the ones that are being used to, do I use the word to harass? To harass people who want to post things on the cyber. And these are, they just use sections of that law. I think there's the Bloggers Association, they have been trying to repeal it for many times. In the other study, that's what we got, that they are trying to repeal it, but you see now it surfaces again into another thing. You hear there's 20 million you have to pay, so if you say something, I'm not comfortable, I go to court. I think it's being contested also. So it's a real thing. So if you are a young person, you are trying out your things, where will you get 20 million? Okay. I don't need an answer. So the next one is promote safe and inclusive, accessible creative space. Support the creation of and maintenance of public venues such as community theaters, art centers, and cultural festivals that are safe, accessible to women, youth, and persons with disability. Ensure that you don't leave anyone behind. Okay. So basically, we should have everyone participating, including persons with disability. Okay? And you know, when I speak here and Asiga is here, persons with disability, I'm sure it hits well. Institutionalize activism, monitoring, evaluation, and capacity development. Develop participatory tools to track the social, civic, and economic impact of activist initiatives. So how do we ensure that we can track what we are doing? Okay. Sorry. Okay, I'm going behind, eh? Okay. Okay. To the specific... okay. Now the insight and next steps for stakeholders. Of course, this was initiated by Power 254. It's important that we also tell them what they should do. So like if you are a development partner and you are wondering, so after this study, how do we fund? You know, there are things we have clearly said here. Institutionalize partnership with the national and county government to integrate the creative civic engagement into policy, civic education, and youth empowerment program. That's a big space that someone can plug in. Number two, expand and strengthen its digital empowerment initiative by providing targeted training, mentorship, infrastructure support to rural and marginalized artists. So basically, tuko na wale wako ushago. So mtu aende, you mentor them, they also know how to pass information. You know, sometimes you can actually think that at home things don't happen. Things happen, but people don't say it. Yeah, it took like 3 years for me to understand who Mauano was because I was seeing it everywhere. Mauano. I'm wondering, what is this Mauano thing? You go to Mombasa Road, it is there. You come this side, it is there. You go this side, it's there. So, number three, strengthen legal and psychosocial support for activists by establishing coordinated referral networks, accessible legal aid desk. One of the things we say, suppose you say things that go wrong, you are on your own also. I don't know if that makes sense. If you post things that the system doesn't want, you are on your own. So can we have a support system? You know, you are doing the right thing, but when things go wrong, you are almost on your own. And then establish community-based art hubs and inclusive creative space that are gender responsive, accessible to youth and persons with disability. Okay, so we could have Nairobi, Kakamega, you know, those maybe some rollout so that it's clear. Establish community-based art hubs. I don't know what government is trying to do. Is it the computer one? I don't know. But that's a key finding to power. And then to the national government, do you have anyone from county or national government? Just by show of hand. National or county government? Okay. Okay, good. Although in our study we said, if you are careful, this is not a government thing. It's not in that framework. Yeah. Although government uses the information that is done to understand what youth are saying, but it's not a government thing. So integrate activism into national and county development framework by embedding it with civic education, youth empowerment, and cultural policy. Safeguard activistic freedom and expression by reviewing and amending these restrictive laws. I told you the problem in the digital space are these laws we have mentioned here. That's what they use. They just pick a section. Pap, wako na wewe. Wanakulock ndani kidogo, unasikia uchungu kidogo, and then it's good that Martha Koome now has said that the court can sit on Saturday. Yeah. And then invest in inclusive creative infrastructure by allocating public funding to develop accessible, gender-sensitive culture space, community theaters, and digital hubs. You know, one of the youth was telling us that if government can just give us Wi-Fi, and then they give us subsidized laptops, you know, we can do our own things and generate money. If those halls have accessible internet and subsidized laptops, and everyone is carrying his laptop to the hub, then we can do our own things. The problem is that most of the community halls, they're just halls, as it sounds. Yeah, so we have 2 more to go. Civil society organization. So we have civil society here. Capacity building and mentorship by strengthening support for activism through training, mentorship, resources for youth, women, and marginalized group. So people should pop up. Other than just urban centers, we can also have the village one, the rural-based one. Advocacy and policy engagement by partnering with government and other stakeholders. The thinking here was that if we entrench this into government operations, then young people can easily express themselves to the government. Okay. Safe and inclusive space by establishing and managing community-based hubs. I think I've spoken about that several times. International community and development partners support funding and resource mobilization by providing targeted grants and financial support for activism initiatives. What we realize, sometimes people who do things that trend, they don't have very complicated things. Someone has just a phone, himself, and a wall somewhere. And some few pains. He's just doing his things, then they go viral. So this is a space, if you placed funding, then it will reach many people. Yeah. You see, in vocational training, we'll buy kits za kufanya kazi. But you see, the person doing this work just needs some trigger, and then they are able to do a lot of work. Facilitate knowledge exchange and capacity building by enabling international collaboration, mentorship programs, and cross-cultural learning opportunities. Maybe there are places where the development partners have worked before. Things have worked well. You know, maybe we have a group of youth who want to go and learn from there. And then advocate for policy and legal reforms by using a diplomatic and development platform. And I think our development partners have really stood up. When things go wrong, you will always see people coming together and they issue statements. But you see, this is key. You know, yeah. So we have the activism now themselves. You know, you have also to recommend for yourself. Leverage digital platform for civic impact by, to expand online campaign, social media storytelling, and digital collaboration to engage wider audience and raise awareness and influence policy. Choose topical things that resonate with the public. promote inclusive and intersectional activism by ensuring participation of youth, women, and persons with disability and marginalized group, while addressing multiple social issues through creative expression. Okay. Strengthen organizational and collaborative capacity by forming networks, alliances, and community-based hubs to share resources, mentor emerging activism, and enhance sustainability and impact of creative initiatives. Okay? The best way to know you are a good leader is when you are mentoring someone. Someone should come after you. In conclusion, I was actually waiting to reach here. In conclusion, activism is vital, democratic infrastructure in Kenya, not a peripheral activity. If you are struggling, I know now we are in campaign mode, how to reach out to the young people, these are some of the ways. So it's a key issue. It has evolved from historical resistance to dynamic force for civic engagement, policy influence, and livelihood creation. Realizing its full potential requires concerted effort to address structural barriers, institutional recognition, digital equity, legal protection, and inclusive funding. Inclusive funding. I still stress there that you don't need so much to fund one person. Just need some gadgets and someone is doing things. And then we are therefore called upon to invest in, protect, and integrate activism into Kenya core development planning. I intend to end there, but I will say you have the report. So the report was there. It's a bit huge. We have a policy brief on your desk. And I said, if you want to get into other things, you can actually read the whole report. Thank you so much. Do I need to ask anything? No, I'm done. Yeah. Thank you so much. I think I intend to stop there. I said I'm Kennedy Hakaba Omkunda. We do a lot of consultancy in governance, election, inclusion, blah, blah, blah.
Fantastic. Asante sana. Round of applause for him, please. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Let's give a round of applause as well for everyone who was consulted on this. So the CBOs, the artists, the different people from across the counties. Keep going with the claps, please. Thank you very much. Nice. Now, for those who've just joined us as the report was being schemed through, I had made two announcements earlier. Number one was that we have running tea throughout, so at any point you could always get up, get yourself a snack, and we keep going. And number two, for anyone who'd like to excuse themselves to go to the facilities, just step away right outside, past the lifts. To your right, you'll see the washrooms. Ndio. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, tunaendelea vizuri. So far, so good. Now, I have seen one or two wave across the tables. Unaona rafiki yako, someone you've seen, you haven't seen in years, just saying hello. So what I'll do, I'll be courteous enough to give you 2 minutes, yeah? 2 minutes this time for you to go refill your cup, 2 minutes for you to go say hello, and 2 minutes for a bit of music to play, but also for me, it is for you to stretch. Tuko pamoja. So 2 minutes, then we are up with the remarks tukiendelea na the program. DJ, take it away, please. Enda usalimie rafiki yako right now, or anyone you need to say hello to you hadn't seen. Yani tulikuwa tunagojea hapa. It is well. Good. Just 2 minutes.
Close in tight, flow so tight as Chris Cantata. Young in pala, ass like Prada. Na kama wezi shikanisha basi weni fala. Basi kila pale kila kitu dola dola. President Moi Kibaki wanahola, naonesha kidole pole. Tubo kubwa kama Rick Ross. Pesa zetu munafanyia what? Kazi kwa vijana, pesa kwa maboss. Acha kuwa floss. Ati wasanii wataget ganji 2030. Nitakuwa 54 made under that. Yes, better than muhuko wa shati ya kaki. Check karatasi Kareke. Yeah. Kareke. Nini SDL, the bigger, the better. IMC on the mic, come tester. Biashara ni ka M-Pesa. Western, Tarisi. Na Kausen, Ski. Biashara ne, biashara. Ukiniona hawe niye dige hara. Ukiniona hawe niye dige hara. Ukiniona hawe niye dige hara. Biashara ne, biashara. Biashara ne, biashara. Biashara ne, biashara. Ukiniona hawe niye dige hara.
Biashara niko busy na mziki ndo wa decrease. Na flungine maji utadai gidi. In other words niko day na java. Tunilisikia pia kukula main is swag. From the business land, Nairobi to be specific. Phuket, Popos, not changa illicit. River Road baby, that's where you gonna find me. I be getting my money fast, calling people hadharani. Niko na M-Pesa cooperative, niko na equity. Pesa ni mingi nimevisha so many na publicity. Paparazzi piga mapicha then tuzione BBC. Dashika mamita busy mejipa juu nimesign na DTP. Biashara baby, what it do, Miss Stella? I'm the man with the power, so I make you feel like Cinderella. And I'm making a shower, so hope you got your umbrellas. Biashara baby, Stella, go ahead and tell her.
Biashara ne, biashara. Ukiniona hawe niye dige hara. Ukiniona hawe niye dige hara. Ukiniona hawe
bado ni genge. Kola unatudharau tafadhali usifanye nicheke. Tadangana zamani rudi studio leo na nasikia poa. Na najua mnapenda kusikia sauti yangu, kwa hivyo ngoma poa tu ndo tazidi kutoa. Unatulia nini bana, mka tuzitoke. Unapanguza nini bana, wacha jasho imwagike kote. Ataka kuna ukame tunajituliza na maji baridi. Clemo raundi ameniambia nikute na ngoma mbili.
Nice. As you're winding up. Nice. As you're coming back to your seats, bit by bit. As you're finding your spots, as you're finding your spots, as you're finding your spots. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Mazi kitu lazima ahanywe. Kagomba leo lazima kanase. Kachombwe. Kamame. Kisha baba lazima katemwe. Kisha lale lazima pakatwe. Kitandani nyumbani atamai. Akadwe. Ahanywe. Nina ndugu za yani ya gari ya mamazi 50. Tutafika lini? Guaranteed leo tunawaingia kusini. Chini kwa chini, juu kwa juu, side to side till I see what's inside. God is no lie, the way you shake your behind, I'm about to lose my mind. Pick up the remote and rewind to my car, please jump inside. For my friends, I'll show you where we can hide. In the midst of the pirates, we can hide anything you want. We got it from the back to the front. Mina mabeste nani ya gare. Mazi kitu lazima ahanywe. Kagomba leo lazima kanase. Kachombwe, kamame. Kisha baba lazima katemwe. Kisha lale lazima pakatwe. Kitandani nyumbani atamai. Akadwe, ahanywe. Simsale. pia trust kadha za kuwasaidia kupate ni nane hajui rap bila isa ni kama sigara bila nare base nifungulie njia nipate kutiririka kama pia ya kusani nikukisita nipate kuwa
finding your spots. As you're finding your spots, I will start calling us out in colors. So let me have all the blacks seated. If you have black on you, start finding your spots. If you have black on you, start finding your spots. Thank you very much for those who are seated. Thank you. Nice. I see people in red as well. If you're in red, find your spot. Good. Thank you. Thank you very much. Fantastic. Fantastic. Thank you very much. There you go. Tumejaribu. 2 minutes wasn't too bad, yeah? Yeah, we've really tried. Good. Now that we are all seated, or at least every poet in the room has said hi to Oeba, or unajua, everyone in social media said hi to Kazungu. Yeah, everyone in the civic space, you've seen your person. Now that we are all settled, thank you very much. Now, I'd like us to go to the second bit of our day today. And we have remarks. There won't be too many, so that we also get into the panel discussion in just a few. So without further ado, actually, even before I welcome our first speaker, who's also one of, if not the main person, who's helped us put this together, I'd like to, just remind you, yes, number one, if you haven't gotten your tea, running tea throughout. Number two, you could always excuse yourself to run to the washrooms at any point as we go on. And number three, as soon as we're done with the remarks, we'll skip directly to the panel. Then we'll have our performance to close. For now, one last reminder, you have this booklet on your tables. It is the policy brief. So in case you joined us slightly later, you could always skim through this. And as soon as we're done, make sure you get a copy of the whole report. It is also digitally available for you. Otherwise, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome our first speaker, who is the Executive Director of Power 254. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Jerry Mwangi. Makofi kwake tafadhali. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. May I have a microphone, please? Thank you. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Maybe that clap for me, but I noticed when the poet spoke, the claps were heavy. It's like you didn't want to clap. Kwani tumekosea? That's more like it. We are here to speak truth and to speak it even as uncomfortable as it may get, right? So, distinguished guests, development partners, government representatives, and friends of power, good morning.
Good morning.
We are so grateful that you would be here to come and witness this milestone as we launch this report. Maybe if you don't know about power, if you've noticed how power is spelled, it's literally the English word, but we have a corrupted way of spelling it because we're artists and because we can. But really, it's about power. And 254 is the international dialing code of the country. So Power 254 is power to the people, power by the people of this country. And what we hope is that we will take that up and it will be power to add whatever number for that other country. That people of each country will take power and they will do what is right and build their countries. We are a global youth-serving organization that uses art for social change, and we leverage on different pillars. So we leverage on human rights, on artivism, youth empowerment, and on democracy and governance. Our vision really is to have active citizens driving change. And that we do through artistic expressions to create a social conscience where people can drive social impact. For over 15 years, Power has believed that art is more than creativity. It is vision, it is courage, and it is action. And this research affirms that belief. I want to thank the Artivist development partners, government representatives, officials, civil society organizations, and other communities who opened up their hearts to this study. You remind us that Artivism is not just about resistance. It's about reimagining what is possible for our society socially, economically, culturally, and politically. This report is your mirror. It reflects your resilience, your brilliance, and determination to not only shape, but also to have a better Kenya. As we've been given the findings, what we discovered is that our study revealed that Artivism in Kenya has been and continues to be a powerful force for transformation. Through music, graffiti, theater, poetry, and digital storytellings, as you've heard, Artivists have expanded democratic participation by amplifying marginalized voices of women, youth, even persons with disabilities. It has promoted public accountability and social consciousness around issues of governance and democracy. Used digital platforms to shape public discourse and mobilize communities around issues that matter to them. It has also made complex political issues accessible to millions of Kenyans who could have otherwise remained clueless on issues that matter to them. As the statistics have been shared, Power developed a proprietary Artivism curricula back in 2023, and our intellectual property, which we have piloted across the country, is ready for the African region. One of the Artivist projects that we have supported directly actually led to crime reduction in Kayole by 80%. Currently, we're piloting in Kisumu and Nairobi through another project that is called Project Unmute and Digital Action Lab. And maybe you'll see some of the artworks that has been displayed here have been produced by some of these projects. Just recently, we also had the Matatu musical, which was premiered at the Kenya National Theatre just a couple of weeks ago, and has been hailed as a sobering look at Kenya's political journey by the Standard newspaper, and it stands as a perfect case of Artivism, translating national trauma into transformative theatre. These are just a few examples of how we've used Artivism as a tool for social transformation. However, there have been persistent barriers, and some of them have been mentioned here. There's a lot of censorship, and there are laws that are being drafted to censor us even further. And with that comes intimidation. Again, there's limited infrastructure and little to lack of support, institutional support for Artivism. There's gender bias that limits women Artivist participation, and I think the consultant has really articulated that very well. Again, there's digital exclusion in rural and marginalized areas, and those artists suffer the consequences of that. Furthermore, there's inadequate legal protection for artistic freedoms, which hinders how we express ourselves and how Kenyans are able to tell their stories. So we as an organization, as Power, this is what we are committing to, based on the findings from this research. We will actively seek out partnerships with national and county government through county integrated development plans and national cultural strategies. This is so that we can address crucial infrastructure and investment gaps. Since 1952, there is only the artists from everywhere else. What do they do? Where do they go? We don't have spaces of practice. We don't have places of performance. So where do artists go? Number two, we want to bridge the digital divide. We will actively seek partnerships with private sector to provide training, mentorship, and infrastructure to rural and marginalized artists. No Kenyan artivist should be excluded because of location or resources. Number three, we want to strengthen legal and psychosocial support. Establishing legal aid desks, referral networks, and safety protocols for artivists facing censorship or intimidation. Courage to speak the truth should not cost one's safety. If anything, it should help draw attention to where focus ought to be to improve the lives of Kenyans. Number four, we want to create inclusive creative spaces. Building gender-responsive, accessible art hubs for youth, women, and persons with disabilities at grassroots level. There's a wealth of creativity and diversity in culture and art, just a way of life across the country. We have such diverse cultures, but we don't get to experience this because of how we are divided. And politicians have used that against us, as a weapon against us, and used our culture to divide us. But we want to bridge that and create a place to celebrate that, our diversity. We want to also facilitate career progression and entrepreneurship. We want to connect artists to private sector, to civil society, government, and research institutions, so that we can have access to capital, contracts, and project financing to build sustainable livelihoods. Lastly, this report is both recognition and a call to action. We have several stakeholders. So to government, we invite you to partner with us to make creative civic engagement central to national development. As you've seen, it is how civic participation and public participation can be enhanced. To our development partners, we ask that you invest in artivism infrastructure and artist safety. To the private sector, we ask that you create pathways for sustainable creative economies. And to my fellow artists and activists, continue reimagining and helping us all to reimagine a society and what is possible and the country that we can live in. The journey continues. Thank you.
My favorite bit about Njeri's leadership is she leads from the ground, you know? So when it comes to artists, she's there among them. To the journalism bit, she's there among them. Sindio? Yeah, and you've had her speak, and sitaongeza lolote. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause, please. Our next speaker represents the Nairobi County. From the Youth Affairs Department, we have Mr. Wainaina Muirore. Makofi kwake akikaribia. Welcome, sir. Karibu sana.
Thank you, and good morning. As I've been introduced, my name is Wainaina Muirore. I work with the county government of Nairobi in the Department for Youth Affairs. I don't know if there's another government official, because I remember MC, actually, I think the previous presenter asking for government, anybody representing government to raise hand. I think at that time I was alone. I don't know if there's another one. But having said that, first of all, thank you. Thank you, Power, and Jerry and the team for inviting us, for acknowledging that there is space for government. But it was very interesting also as the presentation was being done, that you could see, I think, most of what the role of artism in this space is mainly not for government. Or if government has a role, is a bit limited, and I think that is the reality. It will be a bit difficult to see government, especially in these kinds of spaces and doing this kind of work. However, I think from what just speaking from what the findings, and I think even from what has been mentioned by Njeri in her presentation, there is also the role of government, and I think that is what I would want to speak to. But from the onset, let me also just mention. I think from the presentation, maybe it passed me. Maybe I think we still need to look at the report. But it would have been good to see probably examples of, I don't know, probably other jurisdictions of how they have been able to promote issues of artism in politics, in socio-economic development, and especially even for government. I think probably I might have missed it, but I think there is something that is already been done. And I don't know if that came out in the report. My apologies, because I came a bit late. It would have been good just to speak to even those few interventions that probably government is already doing. So for instance, in the department I work in, we have, and I think that is also partly through also the partnerships we've had with non-state actors, Power 254 being one of them. We have a space that we have been using for artists and for youth. So for instance, we have a space called One Stop Youth Center in town. And our wall, we've been using it for a lot of artwork and graffiti. So already there are things that are already happening. I know we have social halls, I think they have been mentioned. We have a lot of creatives who make use of our facilities. I know one of them is very active in Kayole. If somebody comes from that area, they can confirm. So it will, what I just wanted to maybe give feedback is it will be good just to speak of what is already existing and of course what needs to be upscaled. So I think back to government, because I'm speaking for government, but I'm speaking for county government of Nairobi. I also have to be very clear, because we have two forms of government, the county and the national. I've seen something about culture, and I think that was really important. So, because culture is a devolved function, so that belongs to the county government of Nairobi. And currently, there is an ongoing process of developing the Nairobi city-county creative and arts policy. So there's already a process ongoing. I was actually just trying to check with one of our colleagues from Power if Power is involved in that process. I think probably not yet. So I will welcome, I think, Power and probably other partners in that space to engage the county. We have a department it's called City and Culture and Arts, that is spearheading that process. So it will be good to be involved in that process. I know just last week there was an internal stakeholders forum, basically targeting the county departments. And I think that process is still open. So I think there is room for those who are in that space to be involved in the development of that policy. Because as you've seen even in the recommendations, those are the areas government would be very keen on. The other part is on the spaces. I think it has also been mentioned in the findings, and I think even in the recommendations. We have some spaces. I've mentioned the socials. They may not be in a good state, but I think if we can put our heads together, I think we can improve on those spaces. From what I think has been mentioned, we only have, I think, Kenya National Theatre, I think it's the only one that has been mentioned so far. I think it's 1950, 1960s. Yeah, so, and I'm trying to think if there's one maybe the county is trying to develop. I think it's not yet. But I think we can build on what is already existing. Because I also know some of these infrastructure projects are also very capital intensive. And I'm not saying that county cannot support that, but I think if we can probably maximize on already what is existing, and I've mentioned the socials. If you get time to visit some of these spaces, I know even early 2023, as a department or in our sector, we tried to do, I think we tried to do a show, one of the shows with one of, I think one of the artists, I can't remember his name, and we wanted to do it in Jericho Social. And it was to be held at night. I think probably the advertisement was not done very well, so I think the reception wasn't as probably we would have expected. But I think it was something probably we needed to continue doing. So we already have some of these spaces, and we've quite a number of these social halls in Nairobi. And already they are being used by the, let me call them the creatives. We have a lot of even these groups that do this school, I don't know what they're called. We used to do, when we were in high school, we used to go for those plays. So the people who rehearse, and when they come for rehearsals, they're using the spaces that the county is providing. So I think that is something that important. It's good that it is acknowledged, and maybe it would have been good to have it in the report because these spaces are already existing and they're being used, and I think we can still improve on them. The other bit I know is we have, I think we have two studios. I think the Department of Culture and Art has been able to establish. I think one is in Dagoretti and another one is in Kamkunji in California. Where I work, we also have a studio. It is they are more or less containerized studios, so it is a container which has been partitioned. And I think we can, if we can have more of those and probably replicate that in every sub-county, I think in Nairobi, because we have 17 of them, I think that could also be something that will be, in a small way, trying to support in terms of infrastructure. We have, I know we have a library. We have actually 3 libraries in Nairobi. There's one in Kaloleni, there's one in Eastlands, just next to the Huduma Center of the Makadara Law Courts. And then we have the main one, Macmillan, in town. And I think they have also been used to, they've hosted a number of these creative, what can I call them? I think there have been some shows that have been done there. There are spoken words that have also been hosted. So we already have some of our spaces that are being used. And maybe that has not been very visible or hasn't gone out very well. And maybe that's where maybe issues of digital media can also be very helpful. So what I'm just trying to say briefly is that the county government of Nairobi is already doing something. Of course, a lot needs to be done, but as it has already also been mentioned earlier, that is not a space that government probably does very well, and I think that's why it is important to have collaborations and partnerships with actors in this space. So mine is just to welcome partners who will be interested in collaborating with government to do that. We have already also done the, we did, I think probably like 3-4 years ago, through the support of different partners, including Power, we were able to develop the Nairobi City County Youth Policy. We were able to, and I think Power also hosted some of those forums where we brought creatives to just give their inputs on that. So already we have done something, and that's why I mentioned it would have been good for that to be acknowledged, I think, in the report, because it shows already something has already been achieved. So mine, I think, MC, because of time, was just to share what we are already doing, and we are very, very open. As I've mentioned, there's an ongoing development of the Nairobi City County Creative and Arts Policy, and I will welcome, if you're in that space, I think reach out to our City and Culture Department. It is headed, interestingly, by, I will call him a creative, Clemo. I think some of you know him. He's the City County Chief Officer for City Culture and Arts. And I think, and they're the ones also who organize the annual, it's called the Nairobi Arts Festival that is done mainly in December. Yeah, so so I think mine is just to share that and also just to applaud, I think, Power for what has already been achieved, even through that report, and we are very open to continue engaging and seeing how we can provide an enabling environment, because that is the main role of government. I think government is an enabler. So thank you for listening to me, and in case you want to get in touch, I think I'm still around, and I think even through Power, we can still reach to us. So asante sana, and God bless you.
Definitely. Asante sana, representing the Nairobi County government. Now, just a reminder, on your tables, we have this, the QR code, so kindly scan it in case the policy is too far from you. But if it is right at reach, kindly just look through the policy. But the bigger document is definitely on the QR code, yeah? Asanteni sana. And last but not least, I'd like to invite one of the development partners, this time representing the British Council. Ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome Mr. Boniface Mwalili. Makofi kwake tafadhali. Keep it going, keep it going, keep it going. Thank you very much. Welcome, Mr. Boniface.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. Okay. First, I'd like to acknowledge some of the key dignitaries here. Senator Asige, it's a great honor to have you with us at this forum. I've met Tiffany from the French Embassy, so thank you also to the French Embassy for representing here. And I think it's important to acknowledge Boni, because I don't think there's anyone in this room who has run for an office like his as well, yeah? So it's a great pleasure to have you in our presence. And thank you also for everyone, Power 254 for inviting us here, and Jerry and your team, and everyone for taking time out of your mornings to attend this session. My name is Boniface Mwali. I work as a project manager at the British Council here in Kenya. And just to be clear, I'm Mwali. I think there's another more famous Boni in the room, and to make that distinction, please, kumbuka tu jina ni Mwali, not Mwangi. I get that as often as you cannot imagine. So this conversation for me is very personal. It's very close to my heart. I grew up in a very Catholic homestead, yeah, and one of the things I encountered when I went to the university where we studied with Winnie here, my good friend from the University of Nairobi, I discovered the writings of a man called Karl Marx in my political science studies there. And one of the things that stood out for me in Karl Marx's writings was a phrase about religion, which said that religion was an opium of the masses. I don't know if any of you have read Karl Marx or encountered any of his writings, but this was one of the core philosophies that Karl Marx promoted as an academic and as an activist of his time. So when I went home after that semester, this was in my first semester in campus, I remember bringing this to my parents, and we had a ritual where every Sunday morning we go for 6 a.m. mass, 6 a.m. on a Sunday morning. Yeah. So I was like, but this thing we're doing in the name of being religious, Karl Marx says it's an opium of the masses. What's the point of even doing it, right? And that was my first experience in activism in my father's house. Yeah, and you can imagine the reaction that elicited from the background that. Many years later, I've had opportunity to interact with many different organizations that are represented here, doing work in various forms. That understanding of the role that artivism and activism plays in the society, for me, is anchored on that learning, on that principle that when there are things that are not aligned to your ideologies and your values, you have an obligation as a person to speak out and vocalize them. Yeah, and I think that is a role that artists are playing in a very practical and visible way, which makes the work that Power 254 is doing very necessary and critical. So I think the challenge is for all the organizations that are here working in the development space to, look at how this work can be furthered and promoted more, especially considering that in the time that we live in today, young people, the median age, they say in Kenya, is now 19 years. So we have a very young population which is leaning a lot into the creative sector and into the arts as a provider of opportunities, either through employment or civic engagement. And that is central to the work that we do as the British Council. We have 3 primary programs that we drive. The first is our heritage program. So we actively work with spaces, museums, libraries. I had the county mention the national libraries, and generally cultural spaces, to develop those spaces and make them useful, especially in this time of climate change. Also looking at how we can support the transition into the digital age, because we are cognizant that more and more people are now interacting with culture and the art through digital forums as opposed to through physical interaction. Whether that's a good or bad thing is up for discussion. But as a program, our heritage program works closely with these physical brick and mortar infrastructure spaces to enhance them and maintain them and develop them, because we do believe as the British Council that this is important. Culture is important. If you lose your culture, you lose your identity and you lose direction. So this is one of our core areas of focus. Our second program focuses a lot on the creative economy. And in this component of our work, we have different ways, different mechanisms through which we implement our creative economy program. One of the ways we do it is through an initiative called So-Creative. So-Creative is an e-learning platform which has a fully sort of comprehensive curriculum for anyone who is pursuing a career or a profession in the creative industries to develop their hustle, I think, for lack of a better word, to develop their creative practice into a sustainable and income-generating venture or business. So we have an e-learning platform where any of you could go on and register and take on the courses. And we work a lot with hubs to deliver this program. And this is one of the things I like about Power. As I was listening to Jerry's presentation and to the consultant who did the research, the fact that there exists a hub at Power 254 where creatives can converge and do the work. And I think that element of training, because we've been running So-Creative for a while now, and one of the gaps we've realized is that it's very easy for you to go on a website and register for a course, but to complete that course when you're seated at the house alone, we see a lot of drop-offs. People start the course and then they don't finish it. But when you're working within a hub setup like Power, there is a lot more likelihood that you will complete the course because you have a community around whom you're going through the training with. So I'd invite any of you, and especially those of you who are affiliated to various hubs, to look up So-Creative and interact with that platform. Our other program, which is what largely we are focusing on in 2026, is called Sanara. Sanara is a fashion-focused program that is currently being implemented across 6 counties across Kenya. We have a training happening this weekend in Nakuru at Baraza Media Lab. And we also have another exciting masterclass session called Fashion Fridays, which, again, if you go on our social media pages, you can learn more about that. And then the other program that we we have been running, and this is what actually I came to the British Council to implement. It's called the UK Kenya season. I don't know if, by show of hands, has anyone here attended a UK Kenya season event? Yeah, I know they're one of our partners who are delivering the events for the UK Kenya season. But essentially what the UK Kenya season has been is an exchange program, a linkage between creatives in Kenya and in the UK, where we bring creators together to collaborate on a project, and we host events where they can come and showcase those projects. So we've done about 40 different projects across 2025, all of them comprising of partnerships, collaborations between young people in Kenya and in the UK. And for me, this is crucial because when I was scanning through the report, one of the things that came out for me was that we are now living in a global era. The world is one village. So we need to align the thinking, the issues that we are facing here in Nairobi are the same issues that a young person in the UK is navigating in their own context. Yeah? But through these sort of collaborations, we're able to strengthen this understanding and strengthen the awareness that practitioners in the creative space have. So all these programs are delivered through different partners. Some of them are small, individual implementing partners. We offer small grants for small organizations. We also offer more collaborative partnerships with institutions that are a bit more long-term and structured rather differently. So how can you, as a practitioner in the space, engage with these opportunities? First would be follow us on social media, because we announce all our opportunities, grant opportunities, or tenders, or projects on our social media platforms or on the British Council website. Our calls are very open. Anyone who is interested, including government, to the guy in the village who has an idea that they believe passionately in and would like to engage with the British Council, everyone is invited to apply. So we have we receive applications from the ministry to a practitioner in Turkana County who has an idea that they want to deliver. And we review all these, and we try and ensure that in the selection of the projects that we end up with, there's balance and there's representation of different groups, whether it's in gender or scale and all those considerations. I think two last things as I finish is, so in my personal experience, in 2024, I visited our British Council, platforms like Power or through social media where people can ventilate and address the issues that they're experiencing in their spaces. They can become explosive, and I think it's for our collective benefit to look at how we can contain those challenges through interventions, programmatic interventions, and sort of more collaborative approaches. My second experience was last year, and I was speaking to Jerry about this before we started, was through, again, our office in Accra, in Ghana, where we had a forum in November last year that brought together creatives from across Africa to unpack the opportunities within the African Continental Free Trade Agreement. I think French, we've had this conversation as well. So again, digital infrastructure came up consistently across. If you speak to young people from any other part of Africa, this is a consistent challenge. There's no infrastructure, there's no internet connectivity in Mozambique, and equally in parts of Garissa. This is a problem. So I think what that says to me is then we need to start designing interventions that are responding to that need that is universal. In social science research, we say that if whatever you're exploring needs to address a universal challenge. Then it becomes scalable and applicable in many different contexts. So I think those are the two things for me that even from this conversation are still coming out very strongly. But I'd like to end with something that our country director likes to say, that it's the little things that matter. You know, some of these problems and issues might sound very big and very complicated, and you don't know where to begin with it or where to go with it. But if you just start with the littlest thing that you can do, the smallest thing that you're able to do, and then build momentum from there, then we can make some headway. So I think the little thing for me today was showing up here and listening to the insights and interacting with everyone in the room. And I hope out of this, then we can find a viable way forward. So thank you very much, and congratulations to Power for this milestone.
heart?
Are you happy to be here? You're here to be happy. Both. Nice, thank you. So I started spoken word in 2014, and mainly I was doing love pieces. Love is good. I'm still looking for a wife. But in 2017, I was almost shot for mistaken identity. And they say when a gun is put on your head, at that moment your whole life flashes in front of your eyes. If they don't kill you yet, then you live as one who has nothing to lose. And ironically, the model of an activist for me and is Boni. Boni was activating. I only knew Boni as the people's watchdog. So it was in Nakuru, and I was stereotyped for being a confirmed gang member. And I was almost shot. I know Boni has that video somewhere on his Twitter or Facebook. I sent the video to Boni after I was almost shot, so I hit the gun, and then it was chaotic. The police ran away. We went to the OCS, IPOA, and then I said, I am doing spoken word for love, and it's very good. I was in campus, but Boni took a while to see that video, like 2 weeks. So I said, let me start using my voice to activate for social change and talk about missing voices. And it's been a ride. It's been amazing. It's been heartbreaking. It's been tiresome, but we keep going. But most importantly, Tony Ked Bambara said, the work of an artist is to make the revolution irresistible. And what's the point of a revolution if it is not fun, if it is not enjoyable? And that is why people came out to the streets even in 2024, and they were dancing to the tune. Some people did not know what was going on. People did not interrogate the bill. Some people walikuja kwanza vibes and inshallah. Kupiga sherehe, kuanguka nayo, DJ and what have you. Because now art in a document and art also in an inspire hope. And that is why other people also came out to the street, because also art is the language of the heart. So it's been an amazing ride. When we started, I got so much of stop politicizing art. But we are not where we want to be, but we have to respect the fact that we are not where we used to be. So I'll be lying to sit here and say we have not made strides, because sometimes the more things change, the more things remain the same. And you can sit somewhere and look at things and feel like you've not made strides, but we have, and we will get there. Consistency is the only thing failure cannot keep up with.
What part of the recommendations of the Artivism report suggested that Artivism should be integrated into government policies and CIDPs and everything in between. So what can you tell us in terms of the commitments of the government in ensuring that that is actualized and socialized within our very fabric? Are we on? Yes, we are on. Yeah.
Thank you very much for the question, and thanks for inviting me and Jerry and the entire Power 254 family. First, let me politely correct what you just said. You said I'm here representing the government. Mm-hmm. I'm not. Okay. I'm here representing the people.
The people.
Yeah. Okay. That's my job. Yeah. In terms of policy and artivism, it would be good to start from what I've been able to see since being on this side of the street. Mm-hmm. Being a musician, of course, is my first love, and that's what I do through and through, being an artist. And now that I'm in policy and writing legislation, the 3 years that I've been in Parliament, I haven't really had many artists come to me to talk about this issue. So that's surprising to me, because right now we're sitting in this room and there's many of us, and we seem to be aligned and we seem to understand the importance of artivism across the country in different sectors. However, when you have one of your own in Parliament, I have not been able to see anyone come to me, reach out to me and say, hey, why don't we make this a priority agenda in the next 5 years that you're in Parliament? And as you know, now we are fully in campaign mode. And having this conversation, I wish it would have happened in 2022. However, we can still try and do something for 2027 moving forward. The policies that are in place that I have seen and I've had public participation on in the Senate and across Nairobi, across the country as well, are on matters creative economy. There is a bill in Parliament right now called the Creative Economy Support Bill. It's not mine, but it is for the people in this very room. I have chaired a few of these public participation meetings on the same, and young people, creatives really came out. It was refreshing to see young people and creatives engaging with policy at that level. However, since then, I wish that there would have been more of a push, more of a lobby from the creative sector to ensure that it is pushed through Parliament at a faster pace than it is right now, because it's been quiet for several months since that particular period. That also takes your voices. And you are artists. Your voices actually are the most articulate, the loudest when it comes to issues pertaining to art and the culture in general. So what else government is doing, you would have to perhaps have somebody else on this panel to tell you. But I would have also liked to, I had some meetings with a few creatives in film, in music and so on and so forth. We sat down for a few meetings in 2024, end of 2024. And we were talking about, hey, why don't we make amendments to the Copyright Act? Because it still isn't really speaking to all of the issues that we face as creatives. And that's why, as you have all said, we find that there's many of us, however, we're not being protected, we're not being taken care of, our IP, our copyright, so on and so forth. So there was that conversation. I told them, listen, let us buckle down and do this, because I'm ready to champion and sponsor that bill. Like I said, that was end of 2024. And since then, it's been peep, silence. So I think this is part of an issue that we need to also talk about, honestly. Let's just be frank, as creatives. Yeah, we know we need to do something, but we sometimes leave it up to other people to do it for us, and that'll never garner any kind of results. If it is to do with you, then it needs you to be in it from A to Z, all the way from the top to the bottom. That's what I believe, and that's what I've been doing. For example, in PWD matters, disability matters, I was like, I'm not satisfied with anyone else doing this job. Let me do it the best that I can do it. And I was able to, in 2.5 years, which is record timing, pass a bill on disability. And what if that was the same momentum that I could have created with the creative industry to pass a bill that speaks to us? And also, frankly speaking, right now, all the way from 2024 to now to next year, this is a very, very pivotal moment in the country. It's a very, very pivotal space in the country. And I wish that more creatives would use their voices and use their platform and use their art to speak to the time. Because nobody else is going to help change like the voice of a creative. Look at Bob Marley. Look at any artist. Let me not focus on musicians. Look at the other day, Trevor Noah at the Grammys. Did you watch? Did you hear him with his political comments here and there, jabs here and there? He was making a point. And I think that we can be doing that all over, all the time. It doesn't need an event like 2024 Gen Z or the anniversary of last year to make it happen. And also, I feel as creatives, we have a lot of volume when it comes to music rights, but we speak nothing about human rights. And those two things can be synonymous if we see that they can be synonymous. Lots of people come to me and tell me, oh, our rights, our IP, our copyright, we need to go, I'm in court, I'm doing this, etc. But then when it comes to human rights, we're not as passionate. I'm not too sure why. Maybe that is a conversation we need to have in this room. And I would like to hear more from the audience on these kinds of matters, because I feel like we need to just get honest. Thanks.
Right. Except that people have been doing the work, and we've seen in recent times there has been a lot of brutalization and intimidation, censorship when it comes to activists raising their voices. So what does accountability look like, especially from the powers that be? Crystal, this is your question.
Accountability Well, of course, accountability would look like people in power listening and understanding that the voice of the creative is powerful in shifting an entire lexicon of a country. Unfortunately, it doesn't seem like it is something that stops people from doing what they're doing or cautions people from doing what they're doing. I absolutely agree. There is a lot of there are a lot of people in their spaces who are doing the work, who are really engaging in artivism. From digital activists to artists to musicians to comedians, etc. Of course, that speaking to power depends on how you speak to power. I believe that every single person has their own way of understanding, or let me say, they have ways of, that they tick, basically. And you need to understand what makes someone tick. When you understand what makes someone tick, and that person is in power, for example, a position of power, then you will understand how to communicate your artivism, how to do it, what buttons to push, etc. How to, let's say, inject, yeah? And everyone has different buttons to push. And I think that we also need to maybe start understanding how many of us have been able to, in the room with your work, been able to get some steps, move some steps forward. Absolutely, change has been made, noise has been made, and I just encourage that we continue, especially going into the next general election. It's going to be extremely, extremely important. Of course, there's time for vibes and inshallah. Yeah, there's also time for that. Someone said here that art is supposed to be fun. Activism is supposed to as well be fun. Absolutely. At the end of the day, doing small things like music videos that have a message, of course, skits and TikToks and things like that. Even, I would love to see pop-ups. I would love to see holograms, across Nairobi on buildings. I'd love to be able to see, if this is county government as well, there's also a bit of a tightrope or issues there. But if we were as independent as we want to be as creative industry, we would see all these things happening, busking and so on and so forth, ways to express ourselves and ways to comment at the time.
Right. I want us to listen in now to the Executive Director of Power 254, Njeri Mwangi. You have been at the forefront leading this movement, and now we are here launching an Artivism report. What does this moment mean for you, not only as the Executive Director of Power 254, but also as an active citizen, but also as an activist, because I do believe that you are. Yeah, what does this moment mean for you?
Thank you. I think it's a time to celebrate, but we have not arrived. We're still so far from where we want to be. I think, like Willie said, we've come from far. And how he started and where he is and how many more people have even joined this struggle have increased. But that said,
And I don't know if it's a question, but I want to take it back to Honorable Asige. You used a very nice word, and you said you are one of us. And then you said, ever since you got there on the other street, then you realized we are not coming to you again. And I'm sitting here thinking, and I'm telling myself, the first place why you are there and you're calling yourself one of us is because you are one of us and we knew you know what we're going through. So the fact that you are on the other streets, I think to us it should be a relaxing point that one of us is there and one of us knows what we're going through and one of us knows what we want. And it has been an issue because we have lots of one of us on the other side. We can name them. And when they come for voting, it's always, I understand you, I'm one of you. Then when you cross, it's always, I'm one of you, but I'm not seeing you. So I think that is a problem maybe we need to sit down and iron out as a fraternity, as artists. My question, again, still on the same. We all know about this animal cap 222 as one of us who is on the other side. And every time we come and sit as artists and as creatives, and we talk and behave as if we are beginning, sometimes it's irritating. Because this law has been there, I think, longest. Even 1963, it was there. And we know what it demands. For example, if I break it down, right now, yep. Thank you. And next time when you're talking to artists, we look for time. Yeah. Because we assume telling a spoken word artist, make for me a spoken word 1 minute. You think it will take 1 minute to form it. No. My question really, I was to break down. For example, if I want to do right now a 10-minute film, if I came on your desk, whoever was giving, talking about supporting artists, and I told you I have a 10-minute film, and I want you to fund me, I'm sure if you go over 100,000, you'll feel like you've done a lot. But whatever work is being put in producing a 10-minute film, it's a very serious thing, all right? So my question would be, even as we are talking about the creative bill that is on your desk, how are we including artists? Because art is supposed to be, like my good friend over there said, it's supposed to be a source of economic empowerment to artists. Most of the time when we talk about training young ones. And I ask myself, those that we trained that are in the industry 10 years, have we, looked for a place where they are? What is inspiring the young ones to want to be there in the next 10 years? Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Gladys Mereti. I work with the Grassroots Development Initiatives Foundation, Kenya. And we mainly work in the rural areas, various rural counties in Kenya. When we talk about activism, to me, it's not something new. A lot is happening out there through various methods that some of the speakers have, outlined, including, music, skits and the rest. We have a program on democracy, governance, and citizens engagement. And we apply some of these, methods in passing information and also ensuring that we reach out to many people in the community as possible. It's, we involve what we call magnetic theater, which is also one of the example of how activism can be used in disseminating information. Unfortunately, there are challenges in the rural areas. We don't promote a lot of these methods in reaching out the people. While we know, even in public participation forums, we have children, we have the youth, and community members communicating to the policy makers. You come for those meetings through music, through whatever methods, and various other strategies. So what we've seen more, having worked in the urban and rural areas, is that a lot of this is promoted in the urban areas, especially for income generation, using the same for income generation among the youth or other community members that are using the same. So my question is, how can we promote it from the county level to the national level through implementation of the policies, and also enacting other policies that promote the same in the communities? Because truly it is a very effective method of reaching out, of passing information, of income generation, socio-economic, political empowerment of our communities. And for the development workers, how can we prioritize the same? Because in most instances, you find that you have a governance program like us, which is very good and very effective, courtesy of Ulaia. If they are here, they should know that Lakanidi and the region there, they have really held us up in this area, and it's very effective. So how can we prioritize our component on this activism to promote it among the youth and other persons that we work with? Then the government, the policies, and everything. Thank you.
I think what he was alluding to is how are you leveraging your artistic background in vouching for activism, one, and then, yes, let's start with that one.
Okay, fantastic. Thanks so much. Thanks so much for the questions. Yes, I am an artist, and I use art as well until today for activism. In fact, I'm in studio. Next week, I'm releasing a project, and you'll be happy to know that I'm paying my live band, who will be, they're all being paid. Everyone who's involved in that show next week, Wednesday, if you're interested, if you're free, come, is going to be paid. So, yes, I am an artist, and being on both sides of the street gives a unique opportunity and a unique perspective. And that's what I was trying to say. And so let me answer your question by starting with something I often say, which is that light is not a particle, it's a wave. Light is not a particle, it is a wave. That means when you bask in the sun, when you enjoy the sun, you're not enjoying one particle, you are enjoying billions of waves coming from above, right? And what I mean by that is, it will not take one person or one action or one event or one bill or one meeting to create change. It needs a wave to create that change. And a wave also includes momentum, and for it to be sustained. And when I say that I'm in Parliament now, and I have the opportunity, yes, and I engage artists, and they come to my office, and we speak on the phone, and we have meetings, and we have barazas. However, that momentum is what I'm saying I wish there would be more of, because I am not in Parliament under any illusion that I am the one with all the answers. I'm only one artist out of millions of us. And that requires for us to come together and sit at the table, because you guys are the experts qua ground. Yeah? When you're in your own sector, you are the expert. And it is really, for me, unfortunate to see people in positions of power believe that when they go somewhere, now they're the expert. They don't have to consult anyone. They don't have to sit in public participation. They don't have to ask questions. They don't have to go to communities. That's, for me, a shame. I am the complete opposite. I want that one-on-one. I want those meetings. I want that sustained effort, because light is a wave.
And if there's going to be change in the creative industry that you want, you'll need to step up and say, hey, I want to join that conversation in whatever way. And so what I meant was that when that conversation began, and yes, I can give you a summary of all the work that I've done in Parliament with regard to creatives. I wish I brought it here today, but I can have that printed if you're interested, and you can read all the statements I've put together and tabled in the House on behalf of creatives. However, when I talk about a bill, it will need everyone to come on board, and I that's what I was calling for.
Then there was a question about how inclusive is the creation of the policies. Are artists being given a seat at the table?
Yes, I think I answered that in my submission earlier. I did say that in the Creative Economy Bill, sponsored by another member of Parliament, there were several public participation meetings that were held across mostly Nairobi, but also there were a few meetings in other counties. And so artists were given a call. It was put online. I personally put it across to all of my networks, whether that's emails, whether that's WhatsApp groups, whether that's on my socials, talking to places like the Little Theatre Club in Mombasa, all the way to National Theatre, and just saying, hey, on this day that this conversation happening, please come and turn out in large numbers. I don't know if any of you in here were part of those conversations, but that's what I was able to do in my own capacity. And so in that regard, yes, the calls were there, they were open. Many artists did come. I think it was actually, I remember the clerk of the Senate saying that this particular bill, which I was chairing many of those public participation sessions, has been the highest interest bill that the Senate has ever seen. That's because many young people, young creatives came and gave their views on the same. Right now, it is in Parliament. The sponsor is trying to push it through Parliament, and I think there'll be another opportunity as well to engage from the public, because if anyone knows, the stages of Parliament it has to go through both houses. So everything has to be done twice for quality assurance. So it has done its rounds in the Senate, and now it has to do its rounds in the National Assembly. So there is, I believe, an opportunity, and I can find that out, the dates and when you guys can engage, and perhaps I can share with Power 254 if you want to do that.
Right, thank you so much. And the last question was also directed towards you in terms of prioritizing the rural and grassroots level, enhancing activism.
Yeah, that's really important. Thanks for that question. I don't know how easy it is for the organizers to get in touch with COG, the Council of Governors. I think that will be a perfect entry point, because they are the ones who sit, all governors, all 47 of them sit in COG, and to have them even sit in a meeting like this where you present this policy report and explain to them. When I said before, we have to learn the language of the person that you're talking to. You have to learn their language, because if, for example, you go to COG and explain to them the business case for supporting the creative arts, then they will start to understand, oh, my county can actually earn X, Y, Z in revenue if I support this cause. If we come there with feelings and emotions, it won't really translate to a governor or a head of state, for example. I'll give you a really practical, just one, as I pass the mic. In the disability bill, which has now become an act of Parliament, I remember I was at an event and the president was there. That was the first time that I'd ever met him in person. I'd ever been in the same space with him. And I remember getting the mic for 2 minutes. Someone said artists should be given more than just 2 minutes to say their words. But I was given just 2 minutes. And I used those 2 minutes to convince or persuade the head of state that disability actually should matter to him, because WHO says that 15% of our population are PWDs. I don't know if you know that. So if you do 55 million people divided by 15%, quick maths, I know creators are not mathematicians, but like 8-ish million. An average of 8 million people have some kind of disability. And I told him, Mr. President, that is 8 million votes you're leaving on the table, because you and the executive are not prioritizing matters disability. And just with that framing, that sort of messaging, imagine in the next 2-3 months, that bill, we were in State House passing it, and it became an act of Parliament, just like 2 or 3 months after that conversation. So when I say understand the language of the person you're talking to, that's why I'm saying perhaps people like COG, so that they can listen to these kinds of conversations and be given the bigger picture on why actually creative arts is a huge economy booster. And that's the case. It's the orange economy that's the case across the world. So it's nonetheless for us. I think it's very important though, because people in the grassroots are the ones. I'm from Mombasa. I was born in Mombasa. Many Coastarians are in Nairobi now as creatives. So if this conversation reached me in Mombasa when I was still studying and then going to the theater club and singing and performing, I wouldn't have had to feel like I need to come to Nairobi to chase my dream, in the first place. So I think it's very important, and there's a lot being left at the fray when we only look at the urban spaces, like has been said. But I think that the COG is a really good place to start, and of course the Ministry of Culture, where culture sits, which is two ministries. There's gender, and there's also sports ministry. If there are any ways that I can support in getting those meetings or putting those people in front of you guys, then I'll be very happy to add value that way. Thanks.
That's a very good question. And I think there's new innovation and new technology that's coming up. And sometimes you're fresh with it. We know nothing about it. So we're learning from you. So for us as an institution, we're open to learning from you as well. Because everything we've accomplished, it's not because we brought it on by ourselves. It's been through collaboration. And even funding follows what new innovation and new technology. So I think for me, my invitation is to come and see us. Then we see what you have, and we see how we can platform that. Because maybe you're the best at it. Maybe no one else in this room knows what that is. I don't know, how many gamers are in here, in this room? See what I mean? But if you work with us and you show us what that is, then we get to know what is out there. And if not for us, then people like you and people who are interested in something like what you're doing. So for me, it's an invitation. Come, let's see what you're doing, what you're working on. Let's see what we can do. Let's showcase. And whoever is funding these kind of things, fund these kind of things, because we can't continue doing the same things with the same way we've been doing it. Yet there's new methods, there's new ways of doing things. We need to be able to support new innovation and see where it takes us, because some of our solutions maybe lie in some of these new innovations that we're yet to experience. I will wrap up my parting shot with that as well. Yeah? There's new things, really. There's new things that we know nothing about, right? And even from different counties, different parts of this country, there's stuff we don't know about, what's going on in Turkana, what's going on in Isiolo, what's going on in Mombasa, from here in Nairobi. And those in those counties do not know what's happening in Nairobi, because the issues of Nairobi are the issues of Nairobi, right? The issues of Nakuru are issues of Nakuru that maybe Nairobians may not relate with. So I'm calling on all artists. Let's know what's going on in your counties. Showcase not just the struggles, the challenges, but also the beauty. While we're talking about what ails us as a nation, let's also celebrate so that we are showing our strengths and our beauty and sharing that as well. Because we need to give hope. And we can do that with art. We need to give hope where there's hopelessness, because if we have no hope, then what do we have left? So we can use our art, we can use our creativity to share that. In a world that's falling apart, in a world where I think the consultant said, when was the last time you read something positive as a headline, right? Let's make headlines with good stuff. Even as we're talking about highlighting the issues, let's also highlight good stuff and let's celebrate what's happening and what's going right. Because even where government is failing, in a big way, there's places where they're getting it right, right? It may not seem like it, but because we're not looking, we will not see it. So if we can talk about what's going right and continue to give that energy, then the more, if you're told that you're looking good and you're doing well, the more you want to be told that. So that means you do more of it so that people can continue talking about it. So let's also highlight that through our creativity and through our art. Thank you.
Yo, I just did an intro and you're telling me to do a parting shot. What's up? I feel like I did an injustice to this panel. We should add more creative voice, not time, the voice of the creative. And I want to pick on what the gentleman said, because he said, we don't have the model of a creative, of an artivist. And that is why I looked at Boni and I started injecting, you know. And it gets to a point whereby you are an artivist, and then it gets to a point whereby it doesn't make sense anymore, because now, even in the room, I saw creative partners clapping, but guys, you need to support artivists. You need to intentionally, please don't clap. You need to, you need to intentionally, because it's very frustrating. And that is why you see, it is, sometimes all the times you're too hot for the government, and sometimes you're too hot for the public sector, private sector, and also sometimes you're hot for this sector sometimes. And you're left as a standalone. And solidarity is also a strategy. Not only in court, even when they are cooking Winnie on Twitter for opinions that you agree with, but Winnie is being cooked and you're the silent majority. So we need to be in solidarity. And also the question that he asked, because art is the only career whereby there is no merit, and you cannot come with your CVs. I've performed on this stage. People indulge you on the grounds of like what people are feeling at the moment. We feel you, we don't feel you. And that is how people indulge you. And we need to intentionally build structures around supporting artivists, because they're doing the Lord's work, and it's super not lucrative. And it hurts me when we have very big festivals, and instead of supporting these artivists who are here and building them, we call now the mainstream artists. You know, let us work with these artists, let us support these artists, and what he said, because I when I walk around, parents huwa wananiuliza unaweza fundisha mtoto wangu kuwa artist ama unaweza, but sijaiona Sajo akiambiwa unaweza pasua mtoto wangu because art inaonekana kama side, but there are people who do art as plan A. There is a piece of mine imesema sita drop mic hadi inishikia couple B's, kama si sasa hivi ni Isa kama ule legend wa South Sea. This is the plan A. So let us support artivists and let us create models so that we can raise new generation of artivists who can look up to Alans and say, I want to be like Alan Sademba. Yeah? So that is it. And for my parting shot is, and we need to create more time in future. That is a challenge. Is everything that we say here, you know them. Everyone knows them. Let us not live in utopia and think that people outside the streets, the mamambogas and the... I have started sounding like a songos. People out there know everything that we are talking about. But we need to keep on to inspire hope. And the reason why I go to the Matatu to do spoken word is also inspire hope, so that people at home can see Willie is taking the effort of going to a Matatu, then I can tweet, I can amplify change just from the comfort of my phone. And everything that we say here, people know them. So let us keep on saying them. And we might not, they say art is power, but soft power. And when you have power, people presume that you wield more than you do. And you have to use that to amplify for social change. And we might not see the end results. By the way, it might not end with us. And that's the difference between the master builder and the worker. Me and you are workers, not master builders. We are ministers, not messiahs. We are prophets of a future not our own. Thank you.
Right. Thank you so much. Winnie, your parting shot.
From a development perspective, I would say in the space of reduced funding, the power of collaboration and partnerships cannot be underemphasized or overemphasized. Yeah, I think overemphasized. So you can be a partner I know different people are receiving monies for activism. I know maybe Power, maybe us, maybe other people. And if all those resources come together, maybe to support different components, then we will achieve a deeper impact. So maybe for me is looking forward to greater collaborations in the year and partnerships to be able to realize bigger objectives in the space for activism, but also to call on you that domestic philanthropy is where we are going. Domestic is where Boni could be raising funds for campaigns, for campaigning in Kenya, and we are the funders. So we can be the funders for activism, for festivals in Kenya. We can support those because we are also partners, and we need them to grow. Because suppose there is no donor funding next year, what happens? Will we kill activism in Kenya? But we can be the partner. We can collaborate to support the sector. So my parting shot is a call to partner and collaborate in the space.
Thank you, Winnie. And last but not least, Honorable Asige, your parting shot.
Thank you. I think just borrowing from what has already been said, collaboration for me, I think, is really key. I am the kind of person, my character, even when I was doing music full-time and still are continuing to do music, collaborating, I think, is the most powerful thing to do. You can think that your piece of work or your idea or your vision can be pushed by yourself, but really it takes an entire village to make that happen. And so I can't I agree more with that same thing. Another thing I would say is there are two types of people, I believe. There are builders and there are messengers. It would be good for us all to understand or try to figure out which one of those we are. Maybe some of us are both. Maybe some of us are people who build the ground up, and then there are some of us who will send the message of what is being built. And I think that creatives sit at a beautiful space where they are really the most visible messengers of any type of development, right? And I think that we need to use that power more. We need to harness it more, and we need to work together more to really make that shine in every single space, in every single sector, because there is nowhere that you will miss a creative. We are the innovators, yeah? Right now, unfortunately, many of us looking at next year, a lot of people say, or the narrative is that we have put our hope in thieves. We are saying, oh, it's just the same people who are gonna be there, but actually there are more people. There are more people in the underground who I think if we just look to our left and our right, we will be able to see them and be able to amplify and lift those people up so that we don't have to put our hope in thieves. So we have to maybe now think of putting our hope in creatives, putting our hope in innovators. And I think those people are in this room and are the ones who can absolutely demand for change and make it happen in record time, which is ahead of next year, August. And very lastly, I just want to say thank you to creatives who I've worked with one-on-one already, who might be in this room. Of course, I can't see you, but I'm still very, very pleased to work and continue to work with you. If there's more people who feel that I can offer support in some way or the other, collaborating, partnering. I'm a musician, as you know, so if I can support with my talent of singing, songwriting, etc., then yeah, reach out. I think I'm quite approachable, socials and so on and so forth. And shameless plug, Blinding Allure 2, the album is out next week, so look out for it. Awesome. Please come if you're interested in coming as well.
All right, thank you so much. Yes, and ladies and gentlemen,
yes, please.
We have come to the end of our panel conversation today. It has been the absolute pleasure of mine to be your moderator. And from the conversation, it's clear that our clarion call is simple, that creating a place and that space for artivism to thrive, it's going to need a lot more. We're going to lock in community building, investing, financing, you know, everything. So I hope that from this conversation, we start seeing ourselves and as part of building the Kenya that we want to see. Thank you so much. I want us to appreciate our panelists, Njeri Mwangi, Willie Oeba, Winnie Nkadha, and Crystal Asige. Thank you so much for the privilege of your time. We've come to the end of our session. Thank you. Back to you, Mr. Kigondu. Asanteni sana. Oh, shameless plugs, because Crystal has said. So for this and such conversations, please do check out Power Radio. We have a lot of conversations on activism and everything that you need to know in terms of being an active citizen. So please, 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 also shameless plug. Find me every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. on Power Radio. Yes, my name is Anne Wanyoike. Asanteni sana.
Nice. A round of applause for Anne Wanyoike. Thank you very much. And to all our esteemed panelists. Asanteni sana. We can do better. We can do better. Makofi. Thank you. Fantastic. Nice. I'll also shamelessly plug Center Stage every Thursday. Kama leo, today ni vile tuko hapa. But Center Stage on Power Radio from 1 to 4 p.m. every Thursday. Yeah? So artists and everyone here is welcome to not only tune in, but also show up there. Just to underline something before we go to our final bit. Now, I'll repeat what I started with at the opening. Again, to underline what artivism is, Artivism is a fusion of art and activism, which has become influential, emerging even after the anti-colonial resistance era, and it has evolved into diverse contemporary forms such as spoken word, graffiti, music, and digital storytelling that do what? That challenge power, that expose inequality, and promote justice. All this to say, it's not just art for art's sake. Sawa sawa? Yeah, it is art with a lot of meaning attached to it. Ladies and gentlemen, we are now about to get into the third and final bit. But before that, I'd like us to stretch just a bit. Sindio? Yeah, we'll have our musical performer come on board. That is what we are setting up for. But for the next 2-3 minutes, let's do what we did before. Stretch, get some tea, excuse yourself to the ladies or the gents. Then we are back to finally launch our report. Thank you very much. See you in 3 minutes. 3 minutes za ukweli, si ndio?
Gani ngali na uwezo wa kuifanya, nitaifanya hadi mwisho. Mwambieni huyo devil, simogopi shetani, sa God yuko nami hadi kifo. Kanta una kesho, ipe nguvu na uwezo wa kijana na akili za mzee. Daima niwe imara, wasiniangushe. Nataka maadui zangu watashikana na zao njama, siwaogopi na simama ya kiama ajaye. Yendo pesi na songa naye, wanashangaa kuna stress na kuanga naye. Naishi sawa sina kesi mahakamani, au deni za majirani, niko fresh nje na ndani. Oh yeah, ogopa Mungu pekee, wanadamu kija kutafash, naomba Mungu mtetee. Maneno yao yasiniumize, mfanye sugu wewe. Wakitrai kumtisha, naomba nisitetemeke. So I don't feel nobody. Nisitetemeke. So I don't feel nobody. Siamini jodu vile naishi life ni ngumu kwa nini hizi ndoto. Sijui kesho vile itakaa, kwa hivyo leo nitaifanya kaa kidogo kwa hiridishi lungu. Yari sana, tena sana, hata wale wananchukia wananieshimu kwa misi kidogo. Sibabaiki nikisikia mkiongea nazidi kuwapa mingi soko. Kama saa sisimami, sitaki life niache mtani. Mwenyezi mchungie familia yangu na pia za wale wote sauti yangu wanaisikia. Tupe afya nzuri na maisha matamu, barabara zetu zinyooke, waone mfalme ni wewe, wakupewa kupewa shangwe ni wewe, wa kupewa shangwe ni wewe. Hey! Na ogopa Mungu pekee, wanadamu kitakuza fresh na Mungu mtete, maneno yao yasinunize mfanya sugu wewe, wakifly kumtisha na manisi tetemeke. People, we never die. Say we live forever, and forever we multiply. And wherever we go, nini waneza nisho, takasi na kitu, uko na mimi kila siku, wewe pekee. Na ogopa Mungu pekee, wanadamu kitakuza fresh na Mungu mtete, maneno yao yasiniumize, mfanye sugu wewe. Like competition on my knees,
That's good.
Nice, ladies and gentlemen, as we get closer, as you get your tea, start finding your way back to your chair for our final bit. Start finding your way back to your chair, back to your spot. As you find your way, pole pole too. Our music performance is ready for us. Ladies and gents,
kipelekwa kotini ni escort ya polisi kasi.
Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, official speech by mbwa mwitu. Wacha vae ngozi ya kondoo kwanza ndio tumsifu. Si basi wakamkwa chacho toe pesa tulitoa kama tax. Na pastor ana kiss ass, ampati hadi asome kavas. Na sisi tuko busy wajinga nyenye tuna club. Wakini snipe tonight, si mnajua ni kwa nini. Ndakufia watu misiogope mimi. Wasijifanye hapo watalost na hata chuma urust. Na hizo ganja mtazikwa nazo, news flash, flash rudi kwa dust. Nchi inaongozwa na thieves, na ukiogopa jua hawezi kuwa chief. Iba hizo mamita, scot free, niibe tu kuku ntalala ndani. At least Pastor Ng'ang'a na washinda, na danganyanga hadharani. Hapo parliament kwani mna shida gani? Simtuibie kipani.
Aya, nice, if you can hear me. If you can hear me, kindly find your way back. If you can hear me, kindly find your way back. Find your way back. Find your way back.
You know how we do. We make it stick it like glue. Michelle, sing it. Oh.
Finally, my last score. If you can hear me, kindly clap once. Thank you. If you can hear me, kindly clap once. If you can hear me, kindly clap once. Clap twice. If you can hear me, kindly clap once. I'll get you eventually. Clap once. Thank you. Clap once. Clap twice. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, as we find our way back to our spots, as we find our way back to our places. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Nice. I'd like to welcome our performer of the day as we get into our final bit, our final bit. Nice. Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to welcome our performer who I'd like us to honor with our eyes and concentration, our ears, and definitely our presence. If you can hear me once more, kindly clap once. Go for it. Thank you. If you can hear me, clap twice. Awa waja nisikia bado. If you can hear me, clap once. If you can hear me, clap once. Clap twice. Thank you very much for indulging. Ladies and gentlemen, I am honored to give you Liboy. Kindly, Liboy. Karibia makofi kwa Liboy. Makofi kwa Liboy. Thank you. Thank you very much. Panda. Panda, 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 panda. Good question.
You know, we are activists, we are human rights defenders. The energy has to be there. When it is tough, especially when it is tough, it has to be there. When we are in this room, when we are outside this room, the energy has to be there. Whatever it is we're fighting for, it has to be there. We have to be consistent. Steam, 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 steam. Nice. So, I am an activist. I grew up in Kariobangi North, and at that time, I witnessed a lot of extrajudicial killings, and I lost a lot of friends. I felt like I didn't have the voice to honestly speak, or if I did, I felt like people didn't hear me. So then I decided to use music. There's just something with art and music as well. It touches places in you we can't really touch when we have simple conversations, right? So even when we're here and we're talking about creating spaces, we're talking about using our voices, art is that powerful. It's that tool. It's so powerful. And even when I sing, I simply advocate for social justice, for mental health, and for culture. So the first song that I'm gonna share with you, it's called Vunja Kimya. Here we've been encouraged to use our voices. Our voices, I feel like even if Kasongo hatusikizi, we still have to keep pushing, right? If you feel like a person who's defying the law hakusikii, you have to keep pushing your voice. You have to keep speaking up. And together, not alone, we have to do this together, right? instrument that I'm holding is called kalimba. And just like many other traditional instruments, a lot of women weren't allowed to play them. But I picked it up also to encourage other female artists to play these traditional instruments. These instruments, in as much as they produce music, they also speak, they sing. So we're also going to hear its voice. This is Vunja Kimya.
Watakuja sikiliza wewe, ipo siku wewe mama we, watakuja sikiliza wewe. Haye, ongea wakusikie. Ongea usiogope. Ongea mama wewe, ametumia sauti yako. Ongea mama wewe, ongea mama, ametumia sauti yako. Ongea, 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 ongea. Kimya mama wewe usikike. Vunja kimya wewe. Vunja kimya mama wewe usikike.
Now, the next song, thank you. Collectively, we can sing the next song. I can teach you something. How many here are artivists? Artists? How many here are artists? How many here are human rights defenders? Okay, all of us are though. So, with everything inside you, just do hoo, ha, hoo, ha, hoo, ha. When I put my hand up, you do it. When I put it down, you stop doing it, okay? Nice. Komora. I'm here with my brother Komora, who's seated behind there. We're both full-time artists. There is no plan B, plan C. It is plan A to be a full-time creative. And we definitely need each other. We need your support. The spaces that we are talking about, we want to set up, it is very important to also include artists in these spaces. It's very disappointing when you walk into a space, a creative space, and then the people who are running the spaces are not artists. They don't understand art. They don't even have their best interest at art, at heart to help the creative sector. It diminishes everything. It takes away from the entire point. So if you're here in the creative sector, government, and you're working to help the arts, the creative economy, kindly work with creatives. We are here, we're full-time creatives. We'll be there, shouting, screaming, helping wherever we can, because that's what we know how to do best. That's what we use to talk about serious issues. Okay, I'll stop talking too much now. We will sing the song. Okay, this side. This side. One last time. Okay. Sha, sha. Yes. Ha.
Ni mtoto wa Kiafrika, kazaliwa rangi nyeusi, mwerefu tena shupavu. Mimi mwana wa udongo, kamili ya uwezo wa kesho. Mimi mwana wa udongo, kamili ya uwezo wa kesho. Mara nyingi natumika kama lengo la huruma. Usifiche kosa langu, ni mtoto wa Kiafrika. Sisi ni kizazi kipya, sisi ni kizazi kipya. Sisi ni kizazi kipya, sisi ni kizazi kipya. Come on. Wenye vipawa vya kipekee, weusi na wenye vipaji,
kama nyota juu angani,
wenye vipawa vya kipekee, weusi na wenye vipaji,
kama nyota juu angani.
Sisi ni kizazi kipya, sisi ni kizazi kipya. Sisi ni kizazi kipya, sisi ni kizazi kipya.
Wow.
burning inside you. One Africa, yeah, Africa, yeah, Wakenya sisi, yeah, shibiri bana bari biri be, yana mana bari biri be, yana mama nini mama bari biri be, yana mama, na na na, na na na, na na, shibiri bana bari biri be, yana mama bari biri be, shibiri bana bari biri be, yana mama bari biri be, yana mama de 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 de. One Africa, ay, ay, ay,
Thank you so much. My name is Liboy, and that's my brother Kamara.
Nice. That was for Liboy. Now for her Kalimba. A round of applause for her Kalimba tafadhali as well. And definitely for our guitarist who was a partner when it came to that. A round of applause for him. Asante sana. Thank you very much, sir. Check out Rush Band. Nice. Now to our final bit, nataka tumalizie. When we are taking photos, first of all, or writing about it, tweeting about it, just a reminder, we can use the hashtag Artivism Reports. I don't think we've acknowledged enough that when it comes to data collection, or at least journeying with the artists, especially in this space, we don't have such a report. So this is the first of its kind. Sindio? Let's appreciate that, tafadhali. Makofi kwa hiyo. You know, for us to build up on something, we have to start somewhere. So thank you for being part of this. Na si mimi particularly nafaa kusema asante. Ningependa kukaribisha ambao pia watatumalizia with our closing remarks, which will be appreciation for the journey thus far. And before I call Jai, who's representing the Power 254 fraternity, I'd like to call Mwalimu, ambaye atatutembeza through a few minutes of reflection of what today has meant, not only for him, but hopefully for all of us as well. So once again, tafadhali for Mwalimu, tafadhali a round of applause. Thank you very much. Karibu sana.
Thank you so much. I just thought it would be good to connect the efforts that are happening here with also what's happening at the global level, because the global Artivism movement is growing. And if you check online, you'll be able to find the global Artivism convening that's been happening for the last 2 years. But that's just one place to begin. The second place is largely the work of a teacher is to try and synthesize complex concepts into simple things that we can all identify. And seated in this room and having been part of this space for the last 20 years, that sounds like a long time, I see particular opportunities that we can leverage in how we move forward. Artists today play an increasing role of being civic educators, community organizers, community conveners, and all that. And what that means is that we have to look at this role as an emerging area that needs investment, and that cannot be overemphasized from the report. So thanks, Power 254, for the report and for the findings. But around that, there's the role of pedagogy. Pedagogy is how people learn and how people transform in terms of skills. And my encouragement here is, I'm sure there's many development partners that have been working on various curriculum. My encouragement on this and observation is we need to make sure that our curricula remains dynamic to the emerging forms of art, as have been mentioned, to the emerging times that we are currently encountering now. And we need to look at curricula more from a Creative Commons perspective as opposed to a proprietary perspective. What that will enable is that we can scale up models like what we've done with MobLab to mobilize campaigning, to teach campaigning across the region. So thinking about the curricula designed to empower this new and emerging movement more from Creative Commons. And the second thing is we need to look at our efforts as a movement building strategy. What does movement building strategy? It means that we consolidate our alumni for power. Viva Boni for the efforts that you're doing to continue to open this space. If you've noticed, the strongest schools or the strongest institutions survive on the power of the alumni worldwide. Where does the alumni go after all the programs that we have learned? How are we consolidating that into a movement that can be a political force to reckon with? Willie Weber said solidarity is also a strategy. How are we not losing anyone? Because you don't build a family by having so many children. You build a family by bringing the children together as much as you can. And this also connects with our friends in the development society. I've seen Transparency here, I've seen Nisisi, I've seen many other people here. How do we move from competing for resources to actually consolidating the resources that we have to enhance impact? You know, that's a very important part of how we sort of move this forward, because watching this space, it's always limited resources, but how do we bring all that together? Last but not the least, I do feel that there is a moment for us to bridge the gap between practice and academia. There is a way that this report could find its ways as a publishing piece for within academia space, because academia gives us method to the madness that we do out here. Being published in peer-reviewed journals or even having academia being part of this space is an important step towards getting these actions into the spaces that need to be heard. Academics shape policy, they're the people that get consulted. So if we don't have them within ourselves, it will always remain that it's a practice thing, but not academic thing. I'd hope that we can reach out to people like Joyce Nyairo, Mokua Ombati, and other people that continue to theorize about the madness that we participate in creating art and activism every day. Beyond that, I want to encourage all of us to also look at the spaces that are emerging where youth people are connecting and collecting. For example, the young people will not come to us, and I was partly perplexed, like, oh, okay, yeah, you know, the creatives are not coming. No, we need to go and find where they are. They are hiding because they're being sought by the police and all these kind of people. There is new emerging spaces where skaters, graffiti artists, photographers, Power 254 Rooftop used to offer that. What are the new emerging spaces, and how can development partners organize events in these types of spaces in order to continue to support the sustainability of artists? Those are my kind reflections, and I hope they inspire you to locate hope on how we move forward. Thank you so much, Power 254, for the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Asante sana. Nice. So yeah, let's go back to our hashtag. Tumesema ni hashtag Artivism Report. Sindio? Artivism Report. Now I want to challenge you, and I know we are different age groups for sure. Not all of us are on Twitter, on Facebook and the rest. Lakini at least tuko WhatsApp. Sindio? Nice. Kindly get your phone out. Good. Thank you. This is exactly what I want us to do. Get your phone out, tafadhali. Get your phone out. Get your phone out. Nice, tafadhali. Ni sawa pia. Hata kani mulika unaweza mulika huyo next to you, sindio? I want you to take a selfie. Take a selfie. It could be a selfie, but you could also partner up. Kueni wawili watatu. Let's see that. Even ndio tunaenda lunch. Lunch unaenda pale ukionyesha selfie, then unakuwa allowed kutoka. Unajua? Nice, nice. I thought ule amekaa karibu na Willy by now tutakuwa tumezunguka kaa watatu. Willy? Yeah, selfie, sindio? Nice, fantastic. Thank you. Nice. Once you take the selfie, good, thank you very much. At least umemjua. Unajua, we are networking as well. Good, thank you very much. Nice. Once you do that, kindly go to your social media, your preferred platform. It could be uko Facebook. Okay, MySpace, wow. Sawa, on whatever your social media platform, kindly weka hashtag Artivism Report. Ukipenda pia, hashtag Power 254, but more importantly, hashtag Artivism Report. Fantastic. Now, I'd like to welcome representation of Power 254 and the umbrella. Ningependa kumkaribisha one of my bosses, huyo anaitwa Jai. So ladies and gentlemen, kindly help me welcome Jai from Power 254. A round of applause, please. Nice. Thank you very much. Welcome.
Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you're all well. So as mentioned by Kigondu, my name is Jai. I am the Advocacy and Communications Manager at Power. But aside from that, I'm also a musician. Like Komora, I also play in a rock band in Kenya, and that's actually how we know each other. Yeah. So for me, with this particular report, it was really exciting and validating to see this come out, because Artivism is something we have been doing for a really long time without really having a name to put to it. I started my band when I was 14. I'm now into my 30s. We're still playing the same music, same message, which is all about telling African stories from an African perspective. And for us, using music has been our own form of resistance. It's been our own way of pushing for our rights, advocating for our freedoms, especially in a time where freedom isn't free, whether it's in Kenya, East Africa, or around the continent. So to have all these different people in this room, from the embassies, private sector, all the different dignitaries, all the different individuals, the creatives, all the different stakeholders, all the different audiences, having you here in this room, being part of this experience is extremely validating. It means the world, not just to Power, not just to myself, but as everyone else has mentioned, for the creative sector and for Kenya as a whole, as we move forward and as we try to find new and different ways to sort of engage with the civic space. So art speaks volumes where words cannot, and as we've seen. So for us, from the bottom of my heart and from everyone at Power, we're extremely grateful and we are thankful. My only ask would be, let this not stop here. From all the different conversations, all the different things everyone has said, let's contain and sustain this conversation. Let's engage with one another, let's connect. Again, everyone here is from a very different background, but we all have the same interests. So we're all here to learn from one another, grow together, and make the changes we want to see collectively. So that aside, I must also mention that on the 27th of February, we will be having an Artivism showcase. Projects we're working on is using augmented reality. So as we try to look at different ways to engage with the civic space, we're now leveraging all these different emerging technologies, including AR. So this will be on the 27th from at Mageuzi Hub. Please keep an eye on our socials for more details. And with those few remarks, once again, thank you, everybody. Before you leave, please, we'd like to remember this moment, so we want to see all your beautiful faces. Please come in front here, grab a couple of pictures, and keep an eye on our socials and everything as we share more pictures, media, and everything else. And in just a few moments, we will be launching our report. Thank you, everybody. Asanteni sana.
Thank you very much, Jai. A round of applause for him. Sindio. Thank you. Thank you very much. Fantastic. Asanteni sana. I don't think we'd say asante za kutosha. So once again, thank you. Nice. And finally, to the launch of why we came here today. We've gone through what it's about. We've appreciated the journey, but now at least we need a sign to say this actually happens. Indio. So kindly, as we clap for them, help me welcome to help us launch this. Representation from Power 254, of course, our executive being at the lead, Njeri, makofi kwake akikaribia. Mr. Mwali akikaribia, representing our development partners, tafadhali akikaribia, makofi kwake. We have representation from Uraia as well, representation from Uraia. I've been told Uraia are in the house. Uraia, makofi kwao, makofi kwao. Thank you very much. Representation from Uraia. Then, of course, it wouldn't be this without artists, right? So, ladies and gentlemen, kindly help me welcome our first performer of the day, who was Amari. Karibu sana, Amari. Let's have you there as well. Nice. And, of course, Willie Oweba akikaribia pia. Let's have another artist right there. We could balance it off. Don't worry. The fire won't go up till we finally cut. So, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we've all been waiting for. Njeri, would you do us the honors? Aya, we'll count it down. Sindio, we'll count it down. Help me count it down. We'll start from 5. Then finally, we press release like the new J. Cole album. Let's go. 5, count me. 4, let's go. 3, 2, 1. Wapi makofi tafadhali? Wapi makofi tafadhali? Makofi, makofi, we can do better. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Let's keep it going. Ladies and gentlemen, let's move just a bit. Kaka tafadhali. Makofi, 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 makofi. Thank you very much. Wapi makofi? We can do better than that. Makofi tafadhali. Makofi tafadhali. Makofi tafadhali. Ladies and gentlemen, the first of its kind. This is the Artivism Report 2026. We are finally here. Baada ya hiyo njia yote. Thank you very much. Wapi makofi tafadhali. Makofi, keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it going. Thank you very much. Makofi tafadhali. It is very fine. Ukisimama pia upige picha. Thank you very much. Congratulations to Power 254 and everyone behind this. The role of Artivism in advancing the socio-political development in Kenya. Wapi makofi tafadhali one last time. Makofi, makofi, makofi. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I think definitely the final word would have to come from the one who's been at the lead for all this, just for a final thank you. But before that, congratulations. Let's give Power 254 a round of applause, please. Thank you very much, Jerry.
I want to say thank you so much for coming. This has been a labor of love, but mostly from the activists who do the real work, who pay the cost by speaking truth. But even you being here, I want to thank my team, Power 254, where you are. Thank you so much. And the people that we've worked with at Media and Perspective, they've really been great at helping us put all this together. And even all of you for preparing, for reading, for engaging with this report. We ask that you continue engaging with it. Let's see what we can do. There's a lot of opportunity that lies in the creative sector. So all the stakeholders that are represented here, we look forward to engaging with you and to moving this conversation further. Thank you for being here, and I'll give it back to the MC.
Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, asanteni sana. I think with that we call it a day. But of course, I wouldn't let you go without letting you know where we are having our lunch. Sindio? Yeah, so kindly make sure you do partake. We'll have photos with the different, yes, kindly we can pass them, tafadhali. We can pass them around. Yeah, at the front here. Good, why not? Why not? Ladies and gentlemen, as you leave, kindly at the door, make sure you get a voucher. Then we'll head downstairs at the ground floor. What we will do is you'll be giving that, then utakuwa unakuwa received. Ground floor, the moment you leave the what are they called? Not the stairs, the ones which are mechanical. Zinaitwaje? Not elevators. The elevators, vitu za kushuka. Sawa. Yeah, teremka. Then once we are down there, kindly, right in front of you, go get lunch. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Have a good time. Asanteni sana. Remember, #Artivism, #Artivism report. Unaweza ongeza 2026, but saa hizi ni #Artivism report. My name is Martin Kigondu. I have been your MC for the day. Once again, thank you very much. And one final ask is for the ladies and gentlemen who are with us at the front. Wakaribie tena. At least sasa wameshika reports zenyewe. Thank you very much. Have a good lunch. Tell your friends the report is out. Use it and remember to collaborate. Have a good afternoon. Thank you very much.
Microphone check 1 1 2.
Nice. Yes. Don't be afraid to get photos right before you leave. This is here for you, so take advantage of it, tafadhali. And let's keep it going. Remember #Artivism report. Thank you and have a good afternoon.
Wings need the vibe. Gravity is in my serikali hujali, sanaona mbwagali ya badali. Daima amejam juu, do haikam na siwezi kumshow ati life ni exam juu. Mtatupiwa sufuria na hizo ni aibu ndogo ndogo misipendi. So nikikupita tao jua sio madharau. Go ask me say yeah. You wait to the area. Go ask me say yeah. zisipoteze wakati, tumekunja mashati.
Let's have the artists take the photo as well. All artists in the building. Karibuni pia. Let's take a photo with the report.
Nitafutie kazi huko serikali, kakuna kanafasi niwekwe bahali, akiana nisitaambia mtu huko baba, shida yangu dunia mapato, sinishikanishe na kaparastato, wakiniita tutaona na kando, vijana wanataka kazi.
Let's have artists as well. Come closer for the photos, tafadhali. Any poets in the room? Any activists who are actually working on the ground? Karibuni. Let's have artists as well. Come closer for the photos. Asanteni, naona wakikaribia. Wasanii, karibieni. Just take the photo, please. Thank you, DJ. Take it away.
Ni wengi wanategemewa nyumbani, wafanye aje mama, nileze wapi naweza nika apply, je kuna kandarasi tunaweza wae, nikuulize si unajuanga mtu huku mama, mambo yako nitakona hii weekend, misina noma na kugawa pa DM, wakumbushe tunipostiwe huku. Vijana wanataka kazi, wana elimu, nguvu na vipaji, lakini Kenya hizi kumejaa wajuaji, kupata kazi huku ni rocket science. Vijana wanataka kazi, kwani maisha ngumu bila kazi. Sasa Nairobi mji umejaa majambazi, ni wengi wanategemewa nyumbani, wafanye aje na sikupenda kwetu ni vile kupenda kwetu, kupenda kwetu, kupenda kwetu, kupenda kwetu, kupenda kwetu. Jua kale kiasi imenibamba bamba, genge jina ni bamba mbaya kiasi, yani mziki yani ukisikia ni musikia sijui yani mkanipige ndugu watu unajua ni aje kitu yoyote taambia leo utanijibu tu. Maisha yangu tamu squeeze na nramkia mbala kimama ukituliza, kabla pombe niwe tabidi mwacha kabisa ama naanze kuikunywa. Ona venywele zangu zimerefuka mpaka watu waniambia zipunguze. Walikuwa na fulani nimeacha ngoma sababu nimepotea. Ngoma ni mingi, ngoma si na zote ziko poa kama mchele mekiwa mnazi ama